Do I keep doing this to myself? Ugh. Welcome back, my friends, to the Dime Store Cinema, where we talk movies and culture. Today, I guess we'll talk a little bit about Uncharted. I'm not really sure why, other than really it's the only movie I've had time to watch in the past couple of weeks. My wife and I had some free time, so we're like, yeah, it looks like a fun movie. We can just throw that in. Mindless entertainment, it'll be fine. Tom Holland's great. It'll be great. I can't even express to you how dumb the writing was in this movie. It defies logic. So the comparisons between Indiana Jones and National Treasure are somewhat comedic, because obviously the level of talent and enjoyment between those two film franchises is vast. They're not really comparable, but people kind of throw them into the same adventure type thing. So to give you an idea, the difference in quality between Indiana Jones and National Treasure is about the same expanse from National Treasure to Uncharted. You can throw that into the same mix there too, as far as adventure movies dealing with archaeology and history and all that kind of great stuff. Particularly the writing in the beginning of the movie, the meet cute between Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, and the setup of getting him to go along and get started on this whole thing. It was so bad. I can't even express to you how bad it was. I frequently, when I'm on here, I want to talk about good movies. I want to be positive. I want to talk about good movies. But as I said, this is the only movie I've had time to watch in several weeks, largely to do with my work schedule. And it was just so disappointing. So much of it was due to the writing. There's plenty of talent in this movie. I mean, just having Antonio Banderas as a villain, the man still got it. I don't know why he's not cast in more things. I mean, I know that he's not the young, sexy lead anymore. He's an older man, but he still has his look, the look he can give, the smile. He can be menacing. He has this delightfully macabre sense of humor to him, at least in his appearance. And then, of course, Mark Wahlberg is always a fun actor. He's fun. I don't think he was cast well in this part, but in general, he's fun. Tom Holland is a great actor. Everyone did a serviceable job as far as their acting goes, but the writing was terrible. The story was terrible. The pacing was terrible. Everything was seen through the lens of being dumber than it needed to be. Everything was stupid. And I know writing is difficult. I know it can be difficult to generate a compelling motivation for someone to do something. But, I mean, you gotta at least try. I saw very little attempt to do anything creative or interesting or fun. And they tried to instead of adding any sort of substance in any way, just rely on visuals. And I know this is a movie based on a video game, so I'm assuming that's where they got a lot of their logic. But you have to understand that you're switching mediums. You're not making a video game, you're making a movie. And I think that kind of got lost in translation a little bit. I would say that the Doom movie, their first one, probably was a better adaptation because it actually tried to, in a sense, make a movie. And it gave just enough fan service, of course, as you would do with a video game movie, but it actually made a movie. And in this one, sure, they tried to make a movie, but they didn't really tell a story. It was basically just people going to the next level, like a video game. And, you know, Tom Holland, yes, very fine actor, but the problem with him in this role is, yes, he has the physique of a fully grown man, but he has the voice of a 12-year-old boy. And there's a disconnect there as far as him being an adult. His character plays a bartender, and the whole time he was serving drinks at the beginning of it, I was just like, oh, is he old enough to do that? You shouldn't be thinking that as you're watching your lead protagonist perform their day job. It seemed a little strange to me, and I would say that the fan film with Nathan Fillion was many times better than this entire movie. I think it did better at representing the game. I think it did better at providing subtext to a story, even though there wasn't enough time for them to tell a story with this fan film. Everything about it was better than this fully funded studio picture. Who knows how many writers were on this thing? There are probably, I can't remember right now, probably 3 or 4 writers on this. You think they would at least come up with some semblance of a story, something that's interesting. And instead, they basically just made a vehicle by which they can start a franchise. It's the same complaint that I had with Army of the Dead. The whole thing just seemed like a vehicle by which they could make a series. It didn't feel like its own movie. It didn't feel like its own story. It just felt like a vehicle by which they could make multiple films. It's exactly what this felt like. And it's a shame because coming off of Spider-Man, I think Tom Holland has the option to make almost anything that he wants. I would imagine he has some pull in his career at this point, given his massive success with Spider-Man. And it's a shame that this is what he ended up with. I don't think that it's going to tarnish him necessarily, because I think he's going to be in some more Spider-Man movies, but I hope that he's learned from this outing to be a little bit more picky with his scripts. Now he is a young man. Hopefully he's relying on some good counsel from people in his corner. He doesn't end up just making a bunch of schlock, which ruins his future prospects. That's really all I wanted to say about Uncharted. It's just, it was just so boring and not fun to watch. That's the thing. Like, a movie like this should at least be fun. It wasn't even fun. For instance, it was my wife's idea to watch this movie, and she fell asleep before it ended. To just give you an idea of the level of interest that this keeps. You know, it failed at that very basic level of what this movie should be. Like, what made National Treasure a treasure is the fact that it was so fun. It was nonsensical. The writing was stupid in that too. The story was stupid in it, but it was fun. If you know that it's going to be stupid, you can at least make it fun. This movie wasn't fun. It was stupid without the fun. In which case, what's the point? And I was annoyed to see Antonio Banderas go out that way. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, it doesn't matter. It is a piece of, trash. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about Uncharted. I'm not talking anymore about that movie. I'll probably forget most of it within the next, I don't know, 2 to 3 days. I already have forgotten major portions of the movie, to be honest with you. Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial update. Conclusion is, celebrities be crazy. I'm firmly convinced that both parties are somewhat insane. Johnny Depp seems to be a charmingly odd character, and Amber Heard seems to be a just flat out crazy person. From what I'm seeing so far, I think it's about a 50, well, no, probably about a 60-40 chance that that Johnny Depp wins, and about a 80-20 split that Amber Heard's countersuit loses. Now, I will say that the greater probability in both of those is that they both lose. And I stated in my last video that if they both lose, then Johnny Depp wins, because he's already won popular opinion. I have it on good authority that people tend to hire counsel that is similar to themselves. If this is the case, then it just goes to further prove that Amber Heard is a crazy person and Johnny Depp is a charming person. Amber Heard's counsel is really scraping the bottom of the barrel to try to make something stick and land. Their experts that they've called over the last couple of days have been just as insane as she is, and it has not looked good for her. I mentioned before that this trial is a hoot, and it is insane, and it is vastly different than most of the trials that I watch. But it is a very welcomed distraction from how crazy things are getting right now. So between the whiskey and the trial, things aren't so bad. Thank you once again, my friends, for stopping by and listening to me talk. I know you have better things you could be doing, but I appreciate those of you who do. I'd also appreciate a thumbs up and maybe a subscribe. Trying to make videos a little bit more frequently. I think fairly soon I'll start going back to a 5-day work week instead of a 6-day work week, which will give me the opportunity to make weekly videos instead of bi-weekly or even tri-weekly. Within that time frame as well, that'll also give me the time that I need to write a little bit more and do more research to make more informative videos, as opposed to me just ranting in a microphone. In any case, thank you once again. This is Justin C. Bartlett with the Dime Store Cinema, reminding you all to fill your lives with amazing stories.